Hi everybody, HFR President Ken Hines here with the HFRX April 2024 Performance Snapshot. Really, April represents a pretty stark contrast to what we saw in the first quarter. We saw a major inflection point right at the beginning of the month, and after a dominant risk-on sentiment that really dominated the first quarter, we saw the opposite story in April, where we saw significant risk off sentiment. A lot of that was driven by stronger inflation data and investors essentially pricing out a lot of the optimism that they had with regard to interest rate cuts later on in 2024. Through that environment, through that challenging reversal and that inflection point in the market, hedge fund performance was actually very strong. They did a good job of navigating this. And again, we still have one trading day left to in the month of April to record for the HFRX, but we do have a small gain for the HFRX macro index, and the other strategy indices in the overall composite have only a very narrow decline compared to a much more significant decline for large cap US equities. We'll talk a little bit about that on the coming slides. Continuing from the previous slide, as I was mentioning, overall, with the major inflection point in the market, you saw large cap US equities decline about 3 1/3%, but hedge funds did a very good job of navigating this change, this inflection point, this change of risk sentiment in the marketplace, and obviously this repricing of risk associated with pricing out a lot of the optimism for interest rate cuts in 2024 as we continue to see stronger inflation data. Through that environment, again, with one trading day left to go, we have positive performance for the macro space. Again, not a huge gain, only 6 basis points, but that is positive in a market that was negative across the board from the perspective of equity and fixed income performance. Overall, the global index, which includes all strategies, posted a decline of 41 basis points, again, also with one trading day to go. And the other three strategies really all in the same range. We have a decline of 42 basis points for the HFRX Equity Hedge Index, 54 basis points for event-driven, and 55 for fixed income-based relative value arbitrage, and that's for the month of April with just one trading day to go. So take a slightly longer view of time, really looking at the performance in April and adding that to the first quarter, we see a lot of the same trends are dominating, even though we've seen a major inflection point in the marketplace and change of risk sentiment. You still see the strongest performance has been the macro strategies, which have gained nearly 6%, 593 so far for the first 4 months of the year, a gain of nearly 3% for equity hedge, little over about 2.1% for the HFRX Global, which includes all strategies, about 0.75% gain for event-driven strategies, and all of those are ahead of what we have for large cap US equities. I know that right out of the gate in the month of February, March, you had very strong gains for equities. Obviously, a lot of those have pulled back, and now you only have a gain of about 44 basis points coming into the end of April. And just a narrowly positive year so far for fixed income based strategies in the HFRX Relative Value Index. As many of you know, there's a lot of great information on the HFRX and all the families of indices on the HFR website. New website, we just launched it a couple of weeks, are in the middle of April, so please be sure to check that out. When you go there, please review. You can download the investor guidebook, which is a great resource for understanding all of the mechanics of the indices from a methodology standpoint. Please take a chance to review that. And if you have questions, you can email me, Ken Hines, or any of the email addresses, info@HFR Indices at HFR. All of those will get you to myself or another representative that can help you with any questions you have about the indices. If you're watching this, you know that we do regular performance commentaries on YouTube, so please be sure to subscribe to the channel. And if you have questions that you'd like to ask, please, you can ask them via YouTube or just ask them directly to me via email. And obviously, if you'd like to set up a call to discuss anything that you've seen in this video or the questions you have about indices HFR produces, don't hesitate to reach out. Thanks, and look forward to speaking with you next week. Thank you.